Ali McCabe was weak link number 1.
He was not at the house when John was there, so I drove him home.
Weak link number 2 is Barros.
That tail light was not completely damaged. It was cracked, and a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
What was your role as far as that particular shift was concerned? Did they give you a specific address as far as where they were going? Do you know specifically who you spoke to around 2:30 in the afternoon? Did you receive further contact from Trooper Proctor? Did you observe a vehicle in the driveway at any time? Did you have any conversation with anyone named Karen Reed that day while you were at the house?
I walked up to the vehicle, correct? Yes, on the vehicle, there was snow on the vehicle. More than 30 minutes, less than an hour.
It is the worst type of way of asking that question. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. Folks, we have gone through so many different witnesses on this channel already, and for those of you who have not been following, oh my god, go check out the playlist. We have the likes of Matthew McCabe, Ali McCabe, Jennifer McCabe, Yuri Bukaki, former trooper Michael Proctor, oh, and Brian Higgins, of course. And folks, we're almost at the end of the witnesses for trial number 1. As you all know, trial number 2 is in full swing as we speak, and apparently we have a lull in the trial, and so I have a little bit of time to premiere this video, and I'm going to premiere it because I want to keep giving you guys content from trial number 1. Now we're almost done. There are only 3 more that are left. This one video of Trooper Barros, and then we have Trooper Paul. That's going to be a long one. I believe there are maybe 5. And then the longest is going to be Brian Albert. Brian Albert is about 8, maybe 9 episodes, something like that. So that's what you have to look forward to. Once that is concluded, all the content is going to be exclusively from witnesses from trial number 2. Obviously, we're going to be a little bit behind because each cross-examination, when I break these down, takes a little bit, because if the cross-examination is about 40 minutes, I can turn it into 2 episodes. If the cross-examination is 2 hours, I mean, that's going to be 6 days of content, but the cross-examination happened in 1 or 2 days, sometimes 3. So trial is going to be moving a lot faster than the content I'm going to be pumping out. But the cool thing about everything is you guys get to be entertained, you guys get to learn some things, and you guys get the benefit of watching me react in real time and commentate on the facts and the law of what's happening in the courtroom in the Karen Reed trial, both number 1 and number 2. And folks, this is going to be a long haul. I mean, I anticipate this will take us through the end of the summer with content, and then I have more. I have so much content in the vault, you guys. I have so many things in the vault that will make your head spin. I have at least 5 jury trials of my own that is like a month and a week worth of content ready to go at a moment's notice. If, let's say, Karen Reed freezes tomorrow, let's say. It won't, but hypothetically speaking, I have stuff to show you. I know you guys have indicated you're very, very interested in Brian Kohberger's case. His begins in a few months, about 3 months from now, maybe 2.5 in July. And so once we're done with Karen Reed, Kohberger will probably take us at least halfway, if not all the way through fall. And then all of my content through the winter during the slow months, if there isn't anything else. I know Weinstein, very few of you I think are interested in Weinstein. Very few are interested in Diddy. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. Just throw a yes, I want Diddy content. No, we don't want Diddy content. If you already see a comment like that, you know, maybe like it or dislike it or whatever, and form your own opinion, because I want to know what you guys want me to cover. I don't want to cover stuff that nobody wants me to cover just because I want to cover it. And sometimes you guys want me to cover something and I'm not going to cover it, like Daryl Brooks. Oh dear God, I could not. Nope. Daryl Brooks I skipped over. Lori Vallow I skipped over. Anybody who's representing themselves pro se in court, I just can't. I value my nervous system more than I value making content. Plus I have a thriving personal injury and criminal defense practice, which, by the way, if you need a lawyer, 1-844-774-HURT, 1-844-774-HURT. Trial lawyers are standing by to get you the most money for your compensation. Now, also, before I forget, don't forget to subscribe. Like this video and subscribe. It's free. Just click the button, and that way you get more of this content. Anyway, So the most important thing that you have to know, the takeaway from all of this, is you are going to have a video a day, every day, until the end of the year. December 31st, 2025. Mark my words. I am promising you, barring some catastrophic, failure of some sort, even if I stop recording videos tomorrow, I still have content through at least the end of May, at least the middle of June, possibly even the end of June, already in the vault, already recorded and ready to be edited and posted at a moment's notice. I'm ahead of things. I'm not behind. The minute something fresh comes out, I just go to the studio and record a new video. This studio is in my home, which is beautiful. I don't have to go anywhere special in order to record the video. So that's fantastic. That's always good. And I do apologize for the long intro. I just kind of wanted to let you guys know where I'm at because I don't do lives that much anymore. With Buckle Up Club, we're going to have more lives coming up. Remember, I told you I did. I'm going to revamp the entire membership system, but right now I have so much stuff that it may have to take a back seat until I have time because I have my own practice. I am practicing 3 different fields. So that's basically 3 different businesses when you really think about it. I have my real estate business and I have this. So there's always something to do. I'm always busy. I don't know what it's like to be bored. I don't know what it's like I have nothing to do. I don't know what that feels like anymore. I haven't for many, many years. So without further ado, after wasting about 6 minutes of your lives with updates, let's get into Nicholas Barros.
All right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Nicholas Barros, Barros,
And how are you employed, sir?
with the town of Dighton.
And what, if any, role or what do you do for the town of Dyke?
I'm a police sergeant for the police department.
And how long in total have you been a member of the Dyke Police?
In total, started in 2011, 14 years this December.
And how long have you had the rank of sergeant with the Dyke Police?
A year and a half.
Now, if I could direct your attention to January 29th, 2022. Do you recall that date?
I do.
And were you working that day?
I was.
And do you recall what kind of shift you were working on that occasion?
I was working the 8 to 4, the day shift.
And was that the only shift that you had worked on that occasion, or how long had you been on shift by the time you came on for the 8 to 4?
That particular day, I was working from 8 a.m. to midnight. It was on a double.
Now, at some point when you first came in, with reference, if you could explain to the jury just briefly or in general terms, when you come on shift for the Dighton Police, what, if any, communication, first and foremost, what was your role as far as that particular shift was concerned?
I was the officer in charge that day, from 8 a.m. to midnight. When I came in at 8 a.m., the outgoing shift, the midnight to 8 shift, had advised me that a resident had called the police station on a 911 call requesting a ride to Brockton Hospital to meet his daughter due to her daughter's boyfriend passing away, and he needed a ride due to the snowstorm.
And then, as your shift continued, what, if any, further contact or who, if anyone, reached out to you in regard?
By the way, I have not listened to Lally direct examine in a long time, and every time he says, what if anything, and who if anyone, I can't help but remember Elaine Bredehoff. Do you guys remember her? Amber Heard's attorney in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard jury trial from April, May, and June of 2022. It is the worst type of way of asking that question. Just say, what have you done? What have you seen? Where have you been? Who was there? Adding the who, if anyone, what, if anything, that if anything, if anyone, if anywhere is useless. It is a expulsion of oxygen out of your lungs that is detrimental to our ears. Stop it. Stop it, or I'm gonna bury you alive in a box. Kudos to you if you know that reference. Shout out Mad TV. Just don't do that, folks. Just keep it short. What was the information that you received from that phone call? And where did you go after that? Who did you talk to? Who, what, where, when, why, and how questions on direct examination, always. Otherwise, you're leading, you'll be objected to. That's obvious. That goes without saying. But I'm like, come on, dude. What, if anything? It's like nails on a chalkboard for me, especially remembering Elaine Bredehoff.
In regard to that earlier situation?
Later on, I believe it was around 2:30 in the afternoon, I received a phone call from the Norfolk District Attorney's Office with the troopers assigned there and they had stated that they were going to come to Dighton to retrieve a vehicle that was involved in a homicide.
And did they give you a specific address as far as where they were going?
I believe the address was 345 Country Hill Drive in Dighton, North Dighton.
And with regard to that address, what, if anything, did you recognize between that and the earlier call that you were just speaking of?
That was the address that came up on the 911 call when that gentleman had called earlier on the prior shift.
And at some point, did you come to find out who the residents were at that address on Country Hill Lane?
I did.
Okay.
Who did you find them to be?
It was the Reed residence.
All right, so Sergeant, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up, and Mr. Lally, you too. Thank you.
And the Reed residence was at a William and Janet Reed, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as you received that call at about 2:30, do you know specifically who you spoke to around 2:30 in the afternoon?
Trooper Michael Proctor.
And
Now, former.
as far as that earlier information that you were talking about with the 911 call, what, if anything, from that did you impart to Trooper Proctor?
I advised Trooper Proctor that we did receive a 911 call on the midnight to 8 shift about the resident looking to get a ride to Brockton Hospital.
And during that initial call, how was it sort of left as far as what, if anything, you were going to provide as far as assistance or with regard to the troopers on that first call?
On the first call, the troopers just had asked me if I could meet them at that residence as a courtesy since they were coming into my jurisdiction.
And what, if anything, did they indicate to you as far as where they were or when they felt they would be arriving in that area?
Trooper Proctor advised me that they were heading, I believe, from Canton, and once they were about 10 minutes away, they would recontact me so that I could meet them at the residence.
And subsequently, later in that afternoon, did you receive further contact from Trooper Proctor?
I did.
And do you know about what time that was?
I believe the first phone call was around 3 p.m. that he had called me and said that they would be there in about 10 minutes.
And upon receiving that call, what, if anything, did you do?
I had contacted, Trooper Proctor had asked me to contact our tow company to have them meet us at the residence as well. And I said once I hung up with him, I would contact the tow company and then respond to that address on Country Hill Drive.
And is there a specific tow company that the Dighton Police uses with regard to towing of vehicles within the town?
During that period, it was Diamond Towing.
And so did you contact someone at Diamond Towing in reference to responding to that address as well?
I did. I contacted the owner, and he responded.
Now, as far as that area of Dighton, if you could explain to the jury sort of what you observed as you were coming down towards that residence on that day.
Okay, so when I responded to that address, that street is off of 138. When I turned onto Country Hill Drive, I was traveling west. When I arrived on that street, I observed a black pickup truck parked on the street facing east. I was flagged down by that black pickup truck by the driver and was told that they were the troopers that I had spoke to, Trooper Michael Proctor and the other sergeant.
Sergeant that left the room as you were coming in?
Correct.
And what identification did they provide to you in reference to that?
They showed me their ID and their badges.
And then from there, where did you proceed?
I had parked my marked police vehicle at the end of the driveway since it was a snowstorm and we could not get into the driveway. And then we walked up to the residence.
So when you say it was a snowstorm and we couldn't get into the driveway, can you expound upon that a little as far as explain to the jury why it was that you couldn't get into the
It
driveway?
was about a foot of snow in the driveway.
And as far as that snow that you observed when you arrived there, was that snow, how did that snow appear as far as, did it appear as if it had been shoveled or snow blown or untouched, or how did it?
It was untouched.
Now, as you're going through the snow, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's yourself, Trooper Proctor, and the sergeant from the state police, and who, if anyone else, is going along with you?
I had an officer that was field training with me that day, and he was with me as well. And we went up to the residence.
And as you're walking up to the residence, what, if anything, did you come upon as you're going towards, say, any door or getting closer to the home?
I remained at the garage. The two troopers went to the front door and made contact with the homeowner.
Now, as far as you were there specifically for a vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Did you observe a vehicle in the driveway at any time?
Yes, we observed a black Lexus SUV in the driveway.
And what, if any, observations did you make to the rear area of that vehicle specifically?
At first, I did not go up to the vehicle. I just remained at the driveway and waited for the troopers to come back. And once they came back, they were let into the house through the garage. I had walked in with them briefly and then went back out to the garage and remained with the vehicle.
And as far as at any point in time, did you have any conversation with anyone named Karen Reed that day while you were at the house?
I did not.
Now, with respect to you come back out to the garage, is that correct?
Correct.
And the troopers are inside the house, is that also correct?
Correct.
Now, at some point, do other vehicles come down to the driveway area of this residence that you were at?
I had contacted the highway superintendent after speaking with the troopers about how to retrieve the vehicle since the driveway was untouched and had about a foot of snow. I had made the decision that I would call the highway superintendent and see if that he would come and plow the driveway so that the tow truck would have access inside in the driveway.
And just in reference to this driveway, just if you could, not exact footage or anything, but how close is this Lexus SUV parked in relation to the roadway? How long is that driveway?
It's got to be about 150 feet off the roadway, if not more.
And if you recall, from where you're standing at the point of the garage, was what part of the vehicle was facing you? Was it the front of the vehicle, the back of the vehicle, the side of the vehicle? If you know?
I was looking at the left side of the vehicle.
And at some point, did you make any observations of the right rear part of that Lexus SUV?
Here it
I
comes.
did.
And what, if anything, did you observe about that area of the vehicle?
I saw that there was some damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked, and a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
Yeah, that's right. There it is. A piece was missing, but it was not completely damaged. That is huge. That is one of the main reasons why Barros is not on the Commonwealth's witness list. The defense, I think, missed an opportunity in the trial. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they did not want to bring too much focus to this particular issue, which is, it's a strategic move. You know, as a criminal defense attorney, you always are calibrating and recalibrating. Do I ask questions of this witness? If I don't, then is it going to hurt me? If I do, then what do I ask? If I do ask this question, is it going to further my theory of the case? I mean, you're always thinking, calibrating, recalibrating in your head what you're doing, how you're going to do it, what's the best strategy, what's the worst strategy, which one are you going to pick? Because sometimes the worst strategy may work because it's the worst strategy because it's got so much risk, but the benefit may be outweighed. And if it works, bam, you know, you got him. So I already alluded to the fact that there's not going to be a cross-examination of Mr. Barros. So let's finish it out. But that's huge. That is huge. Brennan is probably not going to call Barros. The defense should call Barros. But the only problem is Barros is a state witness. So he missed the memo. He forgot the memo. The memo is the taillight was broken, not cracked, slightly damaged. And he really made the whole testimony of the whole case of all the other witnesses inconsistent. All it takes is one. Ali McCabe was weak link number 1. We did her previously. Weak link number 2 is Barros. Ali accidentally blurts out that John went in the house. Barros forgets the script. He says, no, the taillight was not fully damaged. It was just cracked. It was just cracked. You know what a crack is? It's intact, but it's just a crack going through it. So anyway, take from that what you will.
And then beyond the taillight area of that vehicle, what, if anything else, did you observe as far as damage to the rear passenger side area?
Like a dent on the rear quarter.
There was no dent.
And as far as the dent on the rear quarter panel that you saw, was that above the taillight, below the taillight, or something?
He doesn't remember.
It's probably right in conjunction with the taillight in that same area.
There's
and
no
from
dent.
the time that you made these observations of the vehicle at any point,
If there had been a dent, Lally would have made such a big point of that in the first trial, but he's the only witness to say it was a crack, not broken, and there was a dent when there isn't one. So he's one of the most useless witnesses that the Commonwealth has put on in the first trial. And now I'm reminded once again why my audience wanted me to do this, because he brings a huge contradiction to Lally's entire prosecution. And that's big.
did you go sort of physically up to the vehicle?
I walked up to the vehicle, correct.
And about how far away from the vehicle did you get?
5 to 10 feet away.
And as far as the sort of outside or exterior of the vehicle, you mentioned obviously there's about a foot of snow on the ground. What, if anything, precipitation-wise or weather-wise, was around or on the outside of the vehicle?
Just snow.
And in particular, in this area of the right rear passenger side on that tail light, was there any snow or ice or anything around that area that you observed?
On the vehicle itself?
Yes.
Yes, on the vehicle there was snow on the vehicle.
And not to put words in your mouth, but sort of caked on there, is that correct?
I guess you could say caked on, correct.
So you'd reached out to the highway superintendent to have someone come out and plow the driveway, correct?
Correct.
And do you know about how long it was between the time that you made that call and the time that the plow driver came out to clear it?
Less than 10 minutes.
And the sort of clearing of the driveway and the process of that, do you know about how long that took?
I'd say another 10 minutes or so.
And as far as the time that the troopers went into the house, at some point the troopers obviously came out of the house, correct?
Correct.
Do you know about how long it was that they were inside of the house?
More than 30 minutes, less than an hour.
Now, at any point in time that while you were there, did you yourself or did you see anyone else touching or making any contact or manipulating or anything in that rear passenger side area of either the taillight or the dent that you
I did not.
I'm sorry.
I did not.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, cross-examination?
No questions.
All right, Sergeant Barros, you are all set, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sergeant Barros, that is the end of your direct examination with no cross-examination. And for those of you wondering, like, wait a minute, they had a golden opportunity. He was the only one who said the taillight was cracked and not broken. The reason that they probably did not ask questions is because it was strategic. He would have had a chance to change his testimony on cross-examination and say, well, when I say cracked, it's the Amber Heard, explanation. I actually use donate and pledge synonymously, and you can't tell me otherwise. Same thing with him. He'd be like, well, I use damaged, cracked, destroyed, obliterated, and undamaged synonymously. And so get off my back. And that would have never worked. It would have been really, really bad. And they would have lost an arrow in their quiver. And that's unfortunate. So definitely don't want to do that. Definitely want to make sure that you have your strongest arguments and your strongest witnesses and your weakest witnesses on the back end and the strongest witnesses on the front end, and don't give them a chance to rehabilitate themselves. No cross-examination means his testimony is locked in on direct. Folks, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video, which is either going to be more cross-examinations of witnesses in Karen Reed trial number 2 in April and May 2025, or I will see you in Trooper Paul's testimony. His is going to take about 5 episodes, I envision. And then we're going to conclude this series with Brian Albert's testimony from trial number 1. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.